Roddy had on his black top hat. Roddy had on his long duct tape. Roddy got out his magic wand. Magic showtime. Roddy looked around. The backyard was empty except for Judy Moody. "Where is everybody?" Roddy asked Judy. "Frank had swim practice," said Judy, "and Amy and Jessica Finch are washing pets at the Humane Society." "You ever heard of a magic show without people to watch it?" Roddy asked. "Run and get Sting." Judy ran across the street. Roddy waited. In no time, Judy plopped Sting onto the picnic bench in Roddy's backyard. "I'm the only one here?" Sting asked. "Weird. The best backyard magic show ever will now begin," Roddy said in a loud voice. "I'm not picking up cards again," said Sting. "JSYK, just so you know, no card tricks, I promise," said Roddy. "I'm the amazing Mr. Magic, and this is my assistant, Stella the Spectacular," said Judy. "My first trick is called the Thrill of Flying Top Hat." Roddy pointed to the empty table covered with an old sheet. Roddy took off his hat. Roddy set his hat on the table. He waved his magic wand over the hat. "I will close my eyes, and Judy, I mean Stella the Spectacular, will pour water into my hat. Then when she puts the hat back on me, ta-da, I will not get wet." Roddy closed his eyes. He waited for Stella the Spectacular to pour the glass of water, not in his hat, but behind his hat. "Wait, super trick." He heard Stella the Spectacular begin to pour the water. "Hey," yelled Sting, "she's not pouring the water in the hat." "Am so," said Judy. "Are not," said Sting. "Am so," said Judy. Roddy did not hear water being poured. He opened his eyes. He stared straight ahead at Sting. "And now, without further ado," he said, "Stella the Spectacular will place the hat on my head, and I, the amazing Mr. Magic, will not get wet. Not one single drop of water." Sting cracked up. Judy shrugged. In one swoop, she put the hat on Roddy's head. Kerplash! Water rushed and gushed out of the hat. Water drenched Roddy's hair. Water dripped down Roddy's face. Sting fell on the ground laughing. Roddy glared at his assistant. "Why didn't you pour the water where I told you to pour the water?" Roddy asked between clenched teeth. Eagle-eyed Sting was watching me like a hawk. "I had to pour it into the hat." Roddy wiped his face on his tape. "The show must go on," said Roddy. "For my next trick, the amazing Mr. Magic will change this jar of peanut butter into a jar of jelly. I call it the supersonic switcheroo." Roddy put the peanut butter jar on the table. He placed a shoebox over the jar. He placed a red silk cloth over the shoebox. Judy lifted the old sheet and hid under the table. Abracadabra, Roddy tapped the red silk cloth with his magic wand. "Alaka peanut butter jelly kazam." Roddy heard rustle noises under the table. "Judy's under the table," yelled Sting. Roddy heard twinkle winkle noises. He smiled weakly at Sting. At last, Judy gave him the secret signal of 3 knocks from under the table. Mr. Magic yanked off the cloth and lifted up the shoebox. Voila! Roddy gaped out at the not jelly jar. Sting laughed and pointed. That's not jelly, it's ketchup. Roddy poked his head under the table. You were supposed to swap the peanut butter with a jar of jelly. I know, said Judy, and you were supposed to bring a jar of jelly, not a bottle of ketchup, Mr. Magic. Roddy smacked his hand on to his forehead and groaned. This magic is the worst magic show ever, said Stink. The supersonic flubberoo. Quiet in the peanut gallery, said Julie. I'm going home, said Stink, unless you can pull a rabbit out of that hat or something. Or something, said Judy. You cannot leave yet, said Roddy. Those were just practice tricks. I will now perform the Houdiniest of all magic tricks. Mr. Magic would, before your very eyes, pull a rabbit out of this empty hat. Sting sat back down. For real? For real, said Roddy. See? The hat is empty. Roddy held the hat out in front of him. Judy ducked under the table. Roddy heard something go squish. Mr. Magic said the magic words. Easy wheezy fussy wuzzy. Abiyoyo ala kazam kazoo. Kazoo was the secret word. Kazoo was the cue for Judy to push a rabbit through the trick bottom of the hat. Roddy peered into the hat. No rabbit. Kazoo, he said, under this time. Bless you, said Sting. Kazoo, not kachoo, said Roddy. At last, pop. Roddy saw a bunny ear poke through the bottom of the hat, and zing zang zoom a roo, he reached into the hat and pulled out a stuffed rabbit covered in ketchup. Vampire rabbit, screamed Stink, leaped out and ran out of the yard. He screamed as he ran across the street. He screamed all the way inside the Moody house. Judy came out from under the table. Roddy's ears turned red. Roddy's face turned red. Sorry, I guess I sat on the ketchup, said Judy. Stella, said Roddy, you are the most unspectacular assistant ever. You messed up all my magic tricks. Not all of your magic tricks, said Judy. One of your tricks was super spectacular. It was? Roddy asked. The disappearing past trick, said Judy. You made Sting disappear.